Hey guys, it's time for math. You should have your lesson 8 paper out. Okay, we have a big math week this week. We have a lot of material to get through. But we went through a lot last week, introducing time and telling time on clocks. And we're going to keep doing that again today. We're going to talk about time to the half hour on a digital clock, which is the one that actually reads the numbers to you. Digital clocks are usually a lot easier than the analog clock. Now remember, the analog clock is this one, okay, which has all the numbers on it and the big face. All right, so really quick to review. First, we're going to do a quick warm-up, a counting warm-up all together right now, and then we'll do a little bit of clock warm-up too before we get to the paper. All right, so I want to start us off just to get us in the math mode. In case you haven't done your number talk yet, we're going to just do some counting practice, okay? So we're going to start with counting by fives, but today we're going to go all the way to 100, okay? And I'm not going to put the chart up for you today. We're just going to do it all together chanting. Are you ready? Oh, you know what we haven't done in a while? Are you ready? All right, ready? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. Awesome job. Feeling warmed up now? My arms are. All right, let's take a look at these cards again. We're not going to go through all of them, just a few to practice telling time on the analog clock. All right, I want to remind you of this. The hour hand, you read it first, it's the shorthand. The minute hand, you read it second, it's the long hand. On the classroom clock, the hour hand reads the red numbers and the minute hand reads the blue numbers, okay? So when the blue hand is pointing at the 6, it says 30. But when the red hand is pointing at the 6, it says 6, okay? If the red hand is pointing in between two numbers, it's going to be talking about the number that comes first. So if it's in between the 5 and the 6, we say 5, okay? It means it hasn't made it to the 6 yet, all right? All right, so keeping that in mind, that little review from last week, what time is it? 4:30, okay? What time is it? 3 o'clock. Remember, when the minute hand points to the top, we say o'clock. All right. What time is it? 8 o'clock. What time is it? 11:30. Very good. Okay. What time is it? 9 o'clock. What time is it? 2:30. Okay. I should have told you at the beginning. Feel free to pause if I'm going too fast. I know I go fast. It's so strange sitting here in the video trying to gauge if you guys are going to get it fast enough. So just pause after each one if you need to. I'll do a couple more to give you a little more time, or pause time. Okay. What time is it? 8:30. Okay. What time is it? 7 o'clock. Okay. Ooh, a hard one. What time is it? 6:30. Okay. And what time is it? 5 o'clock. Awesome. Get your pencils out. We will get started on our worksheet together. All right. Time to the half hour, digital time. Okay, remembering that our big question is, how do I determine length and time? We already talked about length, so this section's all about time. Take a look at this guy. He's looking at, I think that's a cell phone, and it looks like he's going to be reading the time on his cell phone. Down here it says, Tyler's football practice ends at 4:30. Use the clock to show the time. Write that time on the digital clock shown on the phone. Tell a classmate what time is shown on the phone. All right. So using the analog clock, we can see that 4:30 looks like this. Okay, remember, the hour hand is halfway between the 4 and the 5, and the minute hand has gone halfway around the clock. So this is 4:30. Now also, you can see on this clock easily that the red and blue numbers. So the hour hand reads the red numbers and the blue hand or the minute hand reads the blue numbers. All right, so we know that 4:30 is actually 4:30. 4:30. So that's the time we're going to write on his phone. Okay. 4:30. All right, now you can't do the part where you tell a classmate, but you can tell yourself or your adult if they're nearby. Go ahead and turn the page. Okay, now I know I just spent time telling you this, but it's also good to see it written down like this. Okay, a digital clock can also show time to the half hour. Okay, both of the clocks show 6:30 or 6:30. Okay, now these clocks that they put in your homework, they do a good job of showing you how it's half of the clock. See how it's kind of shaded that yellow color? Okay, and the hour hand hasn't made it all the way to the 7 yet, so it's still 6. So the numbers are not on here like they are on my big yellow clock. But if they were, it would have a 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Okay, remember how we discussed how it counts by 5s? All right, let's look at these. All right, these analog clocks show the time. Tell what time is shown. Write the time on the digital clock. Take a look. The hour hand, or the shorthand, goes first. Remember, the shorties go first, okay? They line up in the front of the stage or the front of the line when you're going to take pictures. We read the shorthand first. And the shorthand gets to read the big numbers, okay? So has this made it to the 2 yet? It has not. So that means it's still 1 o'clock, or the 1 o'clock hour, I should say. And the minute hand is pointing at the 6. Okay? Now remember the blue hand, the long hand, the minute hand, gets to read the itty bitty numbers. Now, the itty bitty numbers are not on this one, so you just have to memorize them. You probably won't have them all memorized until the end of 2nd grade. That's okay. For 1st grade, you just have to know that when the minute hand is pointing at the 6, it is 30. So this clock is showing the time as 1:30. Okay, now I went through that one really thoroughly. We're going to go a little faster on these ones. All right, number 2. The hour hand is between the 8 and the 9. So is it 8 or 9? It's 8. It hasn't made it to 9 o'clock yet. And the minute hand is pointing to the 6, which for the minute hand means 30. 8:30. Anytime the minute hand is pointing at the 6, it's 30. Okay. The hour hand is between the 11 and the 12. It hasn't made it to the 12 yet, which means it's still 11. And the minute hand is pointing to the 6, which always means 30. 11:30. This clock is showing 3:30. Okay. This one says, how is 10:30 shown on a digital clock? Now remember, 10:30 is just a fun and easy, quick way to say the 30, okay? So if you say something is 10:30, that's 2:30 or 3:30, you're really just saying that the minute hand, excuse me, has made it to the 6, which is just saying 30. So how would you show 10:30? Excuse me. How is 10:30 shown on a digital clock? It is shown like this, 10:30. All right, now that's a talk math problem, so we don't usually write the answers there, but that is something that we would normally discuss with our neighbors in class. Turn your paper over. Now, this is the on your own section, okay? So I want you to take a minute and try these on your own. and then I will be doing them as well. And when you're going to pause in a second, I'll do them, and then you can check your answers. But please do try them on your own, okay? Give it a go. It's okay if you get them wrong because I'm going to go over them and you can fix them. But I want you to see if you're getting the hang of this, to remember how to write it, and to remember that if the minute hand is pointing at the 6, you're always going to write 30 over on this side of the dots. All right? Go ahead and pause the video now. All right, did you give it a try? Number 5 is 12:30. Now remember, this side of the digital clock is for the hour, and this side is for the half hour. Or sorry, for the minute. Okay, so this side is for the hour, and this side for the minute. All right, hour, minute. Shorthand, longhand. All right. Number 6 is 5:30. Number 7 is 7:30. Number 8 is 10:30. Number 9 is 2:30. Number 10 is 9:30. Excellent work. Let's turn to the back. Okay, solve, write the time on the digital clock. Mrs. Johnson's class has art at 9:30. It lasts 1 hour. What time does art class end? All right, I know that these time problems can be a little tricky. So if her class has art at 9:30 and it lasts for a whole hour, we need to make sure that we're not stopping too soon, okay? So an hour is 60 minutes. So we can either count around 60, we can do it by 1s or by 5s, or we can add an hour to the 9, okay? But I want to show you that it works both ways, okay? So it's 9:30 right now, which is when art class started, and it lasts for a whole hour. So we can just know that if a whole hour goes by, our minute hand is going to end up right here, right where it started. But let's check to make sure. Now, I know we want to look at those numbers and say those, but we're not. The hour is going to start here. So we're going to start from 0 and count all the way up to 60 by 5s to see where this hand would end, okay? Now, I'm not going to move it because it's tricky to do as I'm watching in the camera, but I'm going to point to each number and count by 5s all the way around the clock. Ready? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. That would be 30 minutes into art class. 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. So 60 minutes would go by and the minute hand would end up right where it started. But in 60 minutes, this would have moved a whole hour's worth, which would be between the 10 and the 11 now. So all we did was we took 9:30 and added 1. So it became 10:30. Okay? That's the answer for that problem. The minute hand went all the way around 1 time because it was 1 hour. Okay, so as you just saw me do it, we go 10:30 is how we would write it here. Hour, minute. Hour, minute. Okay? Number 12. Aiden's school choir will start singing at 2:30. 2:30, remember that's a fancy way of saying 2:30, okay? They will sing for 1 hour. What time will they stop singing? Let's add 1 hour to this number. Now remember, that minute hand's going to go all the way around and land back on the 30. But since it took an hour to do it, this number is going to go up. This number is going to go up by 1. So the time would be 3:30. Excellent. All right, let's go ahead and do this last one. Chase tells his friend that the time on the clock is 12 o'clock. Tell why Chase is wrong. Make it right. Okay, so Chase says that it's 12 o'clock. Is it? No, it's 12:30. If it were 12 o'clock, what would the clock look like? It would look like this. Okay. So we're going to write 12:30 means 12:30. Okay. You could answer this two ways. We could either say that, oh, he got this wrong because the clock actually says 12:30, which is, another fancy way to say it would be 12:30. Or did they want us to change the time on the clock? Okay. So it's actually 12:00 is how you would write 12 o'clock. So we could write it that way too. Either way is fine. You can copy this answer down. All right, guys, that's it for math today. Good job. I'm going to keep working with Mr. English at school, the IT guy, to see if I can get MobyMax fixed for you guys, because I think that fact fluency stuff is very important for you. But if it's still getting you into fractions and some other division and multiplication, you shouldn't be doing that right now. I really want you to focus on addition and subtraction. So if you're able to do a little bit of that before it gets you into weird problems, then do that. But don't forget, you also have Greg Tang Math that you can use. And you can even go into Connect Ed and do some of the math that's in there, okay? So there's other options, but I am working with Mr. English, waiting to hear back more if he's going to be able to fix that or show me how to fix it. So, but that's it for today. Good job, guys.